wondering why I'm playing Nazi music or German music, it's because I just found out the glass I collect was made by a Nazi. Okay, so for all these years, I've been collecting this enameled type of Czechoslovakian glass. I always thought it was made by Czechoslovakians, and it turns out it was made by Nazis. And so this was actually a product of Haida or Novi Bor in Czechoslovakia, and it was made by a company by the name of Bruder Rachmann. Bruder Rachmann, it turns out, was a German family, amongst other lots of German families that moved to the area, creating industry and factories and making all sorts of products. So this company, Bruder Rachmann, was created in 1874, and their first product was a kerosene lantern or lamp made out of this type of hand-blown glass with enamelware. They soon realized that the shape of the top could be fitted with metal pieces that actually could turn it into a perfume sprayer. And they started selling it to the French, believe it or not. But then they realized that they needed the metal components because they were expensive to be purchased from foreign countries. And they created two factories, one making the glass, and it was two brothers, and the other brother making the metal components for their items. They really made a lot of novelty and home items, mainly being glass. And so their production of enameled glass was actually quite an art and a beauty, as you can see here with some of the objects I have in my collection. Now, in 1884, their production moved to Czechoslovakia in the Navy Bor Haida area. They established branches also in Berlin, in Vienna, and Paris. They had different offices as well. They did sell a lot of their glass to the French, which is quite interesting. And so their perfume products are most of the items that you will find on the market today, amongst these other type of products. The kerosene lanterns are actually the earliest piece of their production. Now, it was unknown to me that they were a Nazi family. Apparently, they were the richest family in the Navy Bor area. They possessed a lot of wealth and a lot of influence amongst the German populations there. I found out in World War I, they ended up creating an ammunition factory. So they turned their factory, their metal factory, into... Sorry about that. I keep getting interruptions, but they turned their metal factory into an ammunition factory to supply the German army. In World War II, they did the same. So as you can tell, the Czechoslovakians, the ethnic Czechoslovakians there, probably didn't like them too much. I found out that the family, especially one of the family members, refused to speak Czechoslovakian and would only speak German. One of them joined the National Social Workers Party, I believe the NSAP, and was a full-fledged Nazi. He had actually received papers saying that he was of pure Aryan race. He would only let his children go to German schools, and pretty much when the World War II, war ended, the Czechoslovakians were pissed. They were pissed at all the German people, the ethnic Germans that were on the border living in Czechoslovakia, and because the Germans were starting to want to create an area that was more Germanic than Czechoslovakian. So they were murdered. Now, before I felt sorry for them, I did not know they were Nazis. I read a story about how the two brothers were actually tortured along with 6 other people of Germanic ethnicity that lived in the area in the public square for everyone to see. So they were tortured for 24 hours. They placed needles under their fingers, actually their fingernails, beat them with rubber truncheons for 24 hours straight. When they would come to, they would throw ice water over them, wake them up, and continue to beat them, and then shot them all point blank and killed them all, and ended up throwing them in a mass grave. Some of the people that were killed that day were elderly and women. So pretty much I always thought that they were actually, it was a sad thing, a German family living in Czechoslovakia, trying to just make a business. And they were capitalistic, making beautiful, beautiful things. And it turns out that they were Nazis. Quite crazy. So yeah, apparently one of them actually was so into the Nazi party. He was one of the secret police. And I'll show you some information. Now, what happened is, after World War II ended, the president of Czechoslovakia ordered the German people of German ethnicity to be expelled from the country. So if not tens of or hundreds of thousands of ethnic Germans in the Sudetenland, like border, were expelled, tortured, all their worldly goods taken away from them, including the Bruder Rachmann widows. All their things were taken away from them, their belongings. They were expelled too, out of Czechoslovakia. And yeah, thousands of Germans were just tossed to the wayside and thrown out of the country. Let's look at the Bruder Rachmann family. So I found this nifty little website in Czechoslovakian. So I really can't read it, but I Google translated it. And what I found was, well, here is some of their work. Beautiful, beautiful work. Here's the family and the workers, some of the workers. What happened was Bruder Rachmann actually enslaved 400 POWs of Russian ethnicity, Ukrainian ethnicity, French ethnicity, all sorts of, even Czech ethnicity, and created a camp called Work, W-E-R-K, with the Roman numeral 2. He created, basically slave labor. So they had slave labor making their glass. What they did was they took the 400 prisoners of war and created this camp. And the ones that they didn't think were good workers, they expelled to concentration camps. And yeah, a lot of people ended up dying making this glass for free. Quite interesting. Here's some of the workers. I believe this is in the 20s or around 1917. Okay, here's their home. Really interesting. Here's one of their catalogs. Here's an ad for their perfume atomizers, probably in the the teens to the 20s. And I have some of these in my collection. Oh, geez. Okay, here's a bill dated 1930. Here's their logos. And a lot of times on the glass, there'll be 0 markings on it. They used to have a paper label that was attached with this symbol or this symbol on it, and it goes missing. So 9 times out of 10, you won't know you have Bruder Rachmann glass. Here's some more things. Here's the family. I believe this was in the 30s. And look what we have here. And this is Wilhelm Rachmann. And he's not one of the ones that were murdered. He died in 1943 of a heart attack. Here's his white Aryan papers saying that he's of pure whiteness. Here's a picture of the family in 1943. And here's Albert. And he was one of the people that were killed during that torturous thing when the Czechs got a hold of them. And here's his Nazi papers that he's in the Nationalist Socialist Democratic Workers' Party or something like that, which is a Nazi party. Here's Heinrich, who was also killed on that day in 1945, on June the 2nd. And here's some papers found in their family's collection. And here's his name. Yikes. what do I think about their glass now? All right, you're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to still collect it, and I still love it. It doesn't matter to me. The past is the past, and it's still beautiful. Look at this Barber bottle made by them. You can see part of the paper label is worn off. Like I told you, that happens 9 times out of 10. Here's another beautiful perfume bottle made by them. No marks, because the paper label is gone. Here's like a little vase made by them. This is another little kind of vase that they made. And an egg that holds like decanter bottles. Another perfume bottle. A beautiful urn. Look at this green glass with all this metal work on it. Really quite sensational. Here's another perfume bottle made by them. And another. That is just absolutely spectacular. This one was made in 1907, 1908 with the original atomizer bulb. And so I just thought you would find this interesting. If you collect this type of glass, now you know it was Nazi made. And it's, well, it is Czechoslovakian, but it's Nazi German Czechoslovakian. Thanks for watching.